Hey folks, Matt Sharp here with another Pacific Angler Friday Fishing Report. We're filming for April 24th, so if it's nowhere near April 24th, click up here. This is a link to all our Friday Fishing Reports, and we do it every week, so I've probably got something more up to date for you. I wanted to start off this week by thanking everyone that managed to write a letter concerning the saltwater closures for Chinook that we've been seeing over the last little bit. Now, if you guys were lazy, if you didn't get around to it and saying, crap, I was planning on doing that and didn't get a chance, don't worry. We got an announcement this week that they're still going to be considering letters when it comes to this topic. And so I want you to stop right now, go to the links down below. We've got a piece on some science that we want you guys to consider, as well as some notes on what we would love you guys to bring to the politicians' attention when it comes to this fishery. Check that out right now. Stop what you're doing, write one of those letters. Now, if you've already written a letter, thank you. Like I said, we've got another big announcement on that front. A new group has been formed, something that I've been teasing over the last couple months, but I can now talk to you guys directly about it, and it's called the Public Fisheries Alliance. It's a new group that's going to push really hard to make sure our access to fisheries, whether it is steelhead fishing in the Skeena, whether it's trout fishing on the Skagit, or it is your saltwater fisheries issues, that they are going to make sure the politicians are looking at the correct science and know that we are not going to let them get away with management that makes no sense for the actual stocks of concern. Go to their website, links down in the description below, sign up and become a member, and you will be able to get all the updates of what's going on that front. Now, on a little bit happier front, a little bit more fun front, we thought to talk about lake fishing this week. We've been holding off on that, but the local lake fishing actually has been really good. Zach's got a really cool update on that in the blog version of the report. But we also wanted to think about interior lake stuff. Now, at this point, we still can't recommend going to the interior for social responsibility levels when it comes to the COVID crisis. Don't think you should be traveling far afield right now, but things are looking up. We're hoping that in the next short time, it becomes a little bit more reasonable to go farther afield. And you guys might be preparing. You might be getting boats ready. You might be getting fly boxes ready. And with that in mind, I've got a fun video. It's actually not a fishing video. It's a biology video. It's a tongue-in-cheek commentary on dragonflies and damselflies. Some really cool footage of them living in their natural environment. Something that you fly tyers might be able to take advantage of. Or you lake fishermen just might want to giggle over. And I thought we could all use a giggle right now. Now, on the fly front, we've got a really cool fly for you guys this weekend. Jordan has tied a sculpin pattern called the OK Sculpin that has a rattle incorporated into it. Really helps it swim like a sculpin should properly, something you guys definitely want to consider if you're filling a box right now to get out on our local rivers, because larger patterns with dirty water are a good thing right now. Make sure you check that out at the back end of the report. I'm going to have an update for you guys for saltwater fishing. Jay's got more information in the blog as well. I'm going to have an update on the cutthroat fishing, because the cutthroat fishing's been good. And Andre has a bunch of cool stuff. Now, you guys know that we did our What's in Your Cutthroat Box video last week, and we're giving away a cutthroat box. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more, because you definitely want to make sure you're signed up. We're going to be announcing the winner in next Friday's fishing report. But there was a pattern in that box that Andre's been doing really well with this week, and we're going to touch base with that on the cutthroat section, as well as stuff on the Harrison, all the sloughs in between, as well as any area that's going to have salmon traveling through it is going to have some really good cutthroat opportunity right now that you don't want to miss out on. As always, guys, you want to see more fishing reports like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button, hit that like button, and let's get into the fishing report. Okay, so I'm going to have a sip of my beer. Thanks for tuning in this week, guys. What do we got? Well, things are looking up. Not a lot. Obviously, we're all living with challenges right now, and there are some challenges when it comes to accessing water. So I want you guys, I don't have to say it, I've said it over and over again, make sure your fishing does not affect the spread of the coronavirus. Just do everything you can to minimize the impact so they don't look at us and shut us down completely. But that said, there's still some awesome ways to get out fishing if you can do it in a socially responsible manner. And, oh, that's my outlook. You guys don't want to see that. Let's pull up the weather first. So as I'm doing this, full disclosure, it's Thursday. And so the slides might be a little bit more up to date when you guys are looking at them, but we're going to get hit with some rain this weekend, and that rain is actually good. We've had a very, very dry April, and that's made some concerns on the fire front, as we saw in Squamish. Now, like I said earlier, that fire is under control. You still cannot get to the upper river, but that may change at any time, so keep your eyes on that. But you can travel into the Squamish area as well as the Cheakamus area. If you're considering you're from that area, it's okay to go up there. You're close to that area. Now, what we've heard is the water is rising on the Squamish, and I expect with this rain to see it rise even more. When we look at the real-time hydrometrics for the Squamish, that's the Harrison, there we are. We're sitting at like a 3.2. Remember I talked last week like a 2.8, 2.6 is really nice. 3.2 is definitely going to be getting dirty, so you're going to be looking at smaller tributaries, smaller pieces of water connected to the main stem of the Squamish, where the main stem should be gray right now. Still fishable, not dangerous by any stretch of the imaginations, but more of a challenge. So take that into consideration if you're heading up there. The steelhead fishing's been good. It's obviously never a great steelhead fishery up that way, but they are there, as well as the bull trout and the cutthroat that have been coming through that area. Fish fry patterns, fish bigger spoons too if you're in the dirty water. That can still be very effective this time of year and worth getting out if you can do it in a socially responsible manner. Flip it over to the Harrison, and this one's more interesting because the cutthroat fishing has been excellent. Andre's got a little update. I'm going to talk about that in a sec, but you can see it's rising as well. So expect access to be a little bit more challenging, but still something that's worth going after. As well as the sloughs as you travel back from the Harrison towards the lower mainland have been fishing well. And we talked about it last week. Cutthroat fishing is kind of a fun one where it's an exploring fisherman's dream, because anywhere there were salmon in the fall, anywhere they are stocking salmon fry right now is definitely worth looking for cutthroat. That could be estuaries around Vancouver. That could be any of the sloughs, basically from Vancouver to the Stave all the way to the Harrison and farther afield up to Hurling Island if you live out that way. So definitely worth going. I figure we've got a handful of weeks left before freshet really kicks in and limits the access to a lot of those waters, but definitely worth looking at. The notes this week, Andre says the go-to fly that he's been fishing has been the root beer, or sort of brown-backed colored fry. We feature it in the What's in Your Cutthroat Fly Box video, and again, I'm going to pump that. We're giving away a free box. You definitely want to check that out. It goes through a number of the patterns. It'll show you that pattern that I'm talking about here that's been really productive for Andre, as well as some cool other patterns that you can throw into the mix. Before this week, it was actually a stickleback pattern, the muddler we talked about, that was producing really well for him, but he had some different reports this week. They keyed in a little bit more on those sort of brown / root beer colored back fry this week. So make sure you check that out. Links, as always, in the description, links up here as well. On the saltwater front, fishing continues to be great. Lots of hatchery fish coming in. I know that's sort of like rubbing our noses in it every time I see one of those pictures of a beautiful 8 to 12 pound hatchery fish being caught this time of year. But if you guys are getting out, it's actually really fun. It's a cool thing to do. Practice good catch and release methods. Keep those fish in the water as much as possible. But it's definitely worth getting out right now off the south end of Bowen, as well as across the strait, looking at Thrasher and maybe Pullyer Pass, as well as maybe poking even farther up Howe Sound. We've heard some good reports out that way. Now, on the lake front, I'm not sure right now getting out of Vancouver, driving up to the interior is high on many people's lists, but I think in the future we're going to have that opportunity. I'm hopeful that things settle and things become more manageable for everybody. And with that in mind, I thought what better than a fun, hilarious, giggle-worthy video that also sort of focuses in on some lake fishing stuff. This video brought to my attention, and it's about a PG-13, maybe PG-15 rated video, but it's a tongue-in-cheek biology video that goes over a number of the lake insects that we love to fish. It's not a fishing video, but some amazing footage of damsels and dragons living underneath the water in a lake, eating and doing cool stuff. Definitely worth a giggle when we could all use a giggle. Also, on the actual going fishing front, I'm going to recommend you guys look at the ice-off reports on Fly BC. It's probably the best resource for understanding what's going on there weather-wise coming into the spring season. And it's definitely worth planning your trip right now. Get your boats ready, get your fly boxes ready, and definitely make sure you're prepared for that, because I expect that to be a fun one for us to be able to take advantage of over the next 2 months. Last one is Jordan's Fly. Now this one's really cool. It's pertinent right now. Something you guys want to be swimming in our local rivers that are maybe getting a little bit dirtier with snowmelt, but it's a sculpin pattern. And he works really hard to get that classic sculpin teardrop to the pattern, as well as he incorporates a rattle into it. Now the rattle is more of a keel, so it makes sure that the fly tracks just like a sculpin, not with sort of a big head up, head down motion, but a very clean, sort of hovering motion that you would see from a sculpin. And it also rattles, which is kind of fun. We're not sure if the rattle elicits bites, but it's a cool addition to your flies, as well as a way to play with how they track. Make sure you guys check that out if you guys are tying sculpin patterns. And as always, guys, you want to see more reports like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Hit the like button, and if you want to watch that cutthroat video, check it out up here. We'll catch you in the next Friday Fishing Report.